Hi guys, welcome to another video. If you are new to my channel, my name is Allison. I'm 29 years old. I work in healthcare and I post a lot of videos about budgeting, personal finance, and I also do lifestyle content like vlogs and just share my life with you guys on the internet. So if any of that is interesting to you, like and subscribe, follow along, and let's get into today's video. So I can't believe it, but it is the end of 2024. This is my last paycheck breakdown video for 2024. Every 2 weeks, I go through and budget my paycheck with you guys, share why I make certain decisions with my money, how I'm paying off any debts that I have, savings, anything like that. So this was my very last paycheck for 2024 before we get into the new year, which even this paycheck was a little different than some of my normal ones, but starting in 2025 it's going to be very different because I'm not going to be on my company's insurance anymore. I went on to my husband's insurance, and then also I'm cutting down on my hours. So my paychecks are gonna look a little different, but this was my last paycheck kind of before any of these changes happen. Before we get too into it, I always like to share with you guys the budgeting template that I use. I use a template by Coplenty, and I've been using it probably about half of this year, and I absolutely love it. I can't wait to use it for the full year next year because then I can see really the whole year and the breakdown and how I do overall with my totals. So here's the template. I'm gonna adjust this number here. I kind of put in just a guesstimate of what my paycheck is gonna be. I didn't know that this was gonna be a little bit lower because I did take some time unpaid this pay period, so I did get $2,170. So then when I enter it in here, it kind of adjusts all of the rest of the numbers to reflect this new budget. But I love this template because you can keep track of everything: savings, bills, expenses, debt, and then you just input every single expense that you make or any purchases that you make during the month, and it will just go through, total everything up, put everything in the right category, and you can see where you overspent, what you need to work on, what you did well on. And I feel like, especially if you're going to start budgeting, if one of your goals in 2025 is to really start budgeting or take your finances seriously, the first step is to just track everything. So I do really like using this as a tool to help me budget, especially like when I look at my overall monthly budget. This also does help me with when I'm budgeting for like my bi-weekly paychecks, because I can see here what I still have available to budget with. So this definitely makes it very, very easy to keep track of everything. Again, this is a budget template from Coplenty. She has a ton of different options. I do have a code with them. This is not sponsored or anything, but I do have a code to save you 10%. So if you use code AllisonM10, you will get 10% off and you can be budgeting like a pro in the new year. So let's get into the nitty-gritty of the numbers. This is the paycheck I got paid on December 27th, bi-weekly. So what I do is take a look at any bills or expenses that will come out between the 27th and the 10th. So it's more like to the 9th because I'll get paid on January 10th next. So for this bi-weekly pay period from the previous 2 weeks, I got paid $2,170, which is a little bit lower than what my like normal full-time income is, because I did take 6 hours unpaid just because of holidays and we took some half days, and I also didn't want to use my PTO for that because I needed to use my PTO for Christmas and New Year's. So that's why that's a little bit lower, but I'm not upset about it at all because I'd rather not use my PTO and just get paid a little bit less. And for not working 6 hours, it wasn't that much lower than what I would have gotten paid because of, you know, taxes and stuff. So that was fine. And also I wasn't that worried about it because I had a lot more carryover from my last pay period than I normally do because I did a very good job at not spending money this month. So I had $160 carry over from my last paycheck. So my total number to budget with was $2,330, so not too bad. The first things that always kind of come out are the necessary expenses or the things that I have set up to like direct deposit into certain accounts, because that's just like a standard. I don't adjust those, they just go from my paycheck to certain accounts. The first thing I'll save for is our rent. I split it up between my 2 paychecks. So from this paycheck, I saved $450. Then into our joint savings account, I put $100, and that's one of the ones that just gets sent automatically into that account. And then also into our account that we use for groceries, I put $125, and again, that just goes right into that account. That honestly has been one of the best things that we did, was have a separate account just for food and groceries and things for the house. I feel like it's just so hard nowadays to combine your finances because there's just so much. And we both have our own, we have our own bills, we have our own expenses, we have our own debt, we have our own everything. So it kind of made sense for us just to keep things separate. But then, food and groceries and things for the house are like a combined expense. And instead of constantly being like, oh, I'll pay this time, you pay next time, we just both put money into this one account, and it's been working awesome. The next few things are bills, subscriptions, anything like that is going to come out during the next 2 weeks. So I'm saving $50.90 for our internet because that is what we normally spend. I was told that it's going to be lower because we switched to fiber internet through AT&T, which is what we use for our phones. So we went and canceled our Xfinity internet, but we canceled like in the middle of a billing cycle, so it's going to be lower, but I'm not sure what it is yet. So I'm just obviously going to leave it as I'm budgeting what the full bill would be, and we'll see what happens. I'm guessing maybe it'll be like half of that. Random side note, we did decide to do that because we got a deal if we combine, because we use AT&T for our phones. So we got like 20% off of that, and then 20% off of our phone bill. And also it was going to be less than what we were spending already for our internet to add it onto our phone bill. And now it's all just kind of in one place. And also I guess fiber internet is better. I'm just a girl, I don't know. So that is going to be changing a little bit. So I'm not quite sure what the bill for that is going to look like. But for now, I'm still saving the full amount just to be safe. And then for subscriptions, I have a few coming out during the next 2 weeks. I hate subscriptions. They really drive me nuts, and I throughout the whole year I've canceled some and then had to get some again and canceled some. They're just frustrating. They are very frustrating, but I feel like I have a good grasp on my subscriptions right now. They're still so expensive. So I have Hulu subscription, which went up to $9.99. I paid for like Apple storage or whatever, and that's $2.99. I have an Aura ring, so you have a subscription for that, and that is $6.35. And then Netflix is $15.49. So total subscriptions is $34.82 for the next 2 weeks. I also need to get 2 boxes of cat litter. I get those delivered from Amazon, the Amazon Subscribe and Save, so you do get like 5% off, and I just set it up so that it gets delivered every 2 weeks. So that is $30.18 for 2 big boxes of cat litter, which does save me money because that means they're about $15 each, and I'm pretty sure like at the normal store they're like closer to like $17. So it does save me money, and also the hassle of having to go to the store and get cat litter. It just comes to my front door. So I do really like that. So my car insurance is $172.16. And I know that's a lot. I've looked elsewhere. I've done the quotes and stuff, and I thought I was gonna get one that was lower, but then they were like, no, actually, now that we've looked into everything, it would actually be higher. So I'm like, I don't know. I'm just gonna stick with what I have because I can't be bothered to like keep looking and getting phone calls from all these places. But I feel like it's because my car is relatively new. I did have a fender bender accident 3 or 4 years ago. I mean, I had a like animal collision last year, so I feel like all of those things kind of affect the price. Anyway, I have expensive car insurance. Okay, and then I am trying to pay off my car. I'm not necessarily going like full force to pay off my car loan, but I am putting extra to it when I can. So I did put $200 towards my car loan, and I believe about 160 of it was like extra to the principal because I had already made the payments that I needed to, so that was pretty awesome. Obviously any little bit can help, and especially with a car loan that has like a decently high interest rate, anything extra is gonna help save me money in the long run. And then I finally made the last payment for my medical coding course. When I signed up, I did like a payment plan, and it was technically supposed to go out all the way until like March or April, but every single paycheck I've been putting money to it so that I could have it paid off by the end of the year, because I knew that I was going to be cutting back on my hours at the beginning of the year and I was going to be working with a little less money. So I decided to pay that off as quickly as I could. So I made my last payment to that, which was $335, so that is completely paid off. Next, I also need to budget $80 for my nails. I do allow myself to get my nails done. And then one of the newer things that I also signed up for was Pilates, and that is expensive. I pay $195 a month, so I did save money for that because that will come out the beginning of like early January. That comes out. I will say, yes, it is very expensive, but I started it in November, so I've been doing it for 2 months now, and I've actually gone very consistently, so I feel like it's worth it because it's something that I'm actually getting myself out and doing, because I've been struggling a lot with like my physical health and getting in movement. If this is something that is getting me back into working out at least consistently once a week, then amazing. So yes, it is a little bit of an investment, but it's also something that I enjoy. I'm getting in movement. And again, I really only decided to do it once I knew that like I was okay financially to do it, where I'm obviously not unable to afford it and then still doing it. So those are just some, I know I don't need to justify myself. I do feel like sometimes because I share a lot of my finances on the internet that I kind of do need to justify myself, but it's more I like to share like why I made these decisions, and especially when I'm someone who is kind of talk a lot about budgeting and like my financial goals, and then like I feel like I would definitely have people being like, well then why are you spending $195 for like Pilates classes? But again, everyone has different priorities, everyone has different goals, and certain things are going to be important to me that aren't important to other people. So that is just my 2 cents on that. And then the last thing is our phone bill. So that is $173, which that will be interesting to see what that goes to. So that was probably the last month that it was just the phones, and now we'll add the internet onto that as well. So if it's less than like the 2 combined, then that would be great because I'm already paying for both. And now they're going to be together with a discount. So we'll see what the total for that comes to. But I do feel like it was a good move for us and is going to save us money. So if we add all of that up, it comes to $1,946. And then I will subtract that from the $2,330, which was the number I had to budget with. And that leaves me with $383. And then out of that, I usually specify like a certain amount for gas because I do drive a lot. And it is a little bit lower this time because the next 2 weeks, one of the weeks is New Year's, so I do get New Year's off. And then the next week is my first official week of working 3 days a week. So I calculated like how many tanks of gas that I feel like I'm gonna need. So I budgeted $150 for gas, which normally it's closer to like $180. And then we'll see what it actually comes out to, and that will be more of like my standard going forward. So then if I subtract that leaves me with $233 for actual like other things, like I want to get a coffee, if we want to eat out. I did make a video previously about doing a low buy year in 2025. The goal really is to not spend like any of this money, the $233, not none of it, but very little of it. If I could end the week with like $100 left over and then be able to put most of that or some of that to my car or to savings, that would be amazing. So that's really the goal in my head, or like the motivation to not spend as much money. That is my last paycheck for 2024. and how I'm budgeting it. I feel really, really good about going into 2025. Obviously, I'm a little nervous about, you know, what it's going to look like financially for me. I feel like it's going to be good, and it will be, again, a little bit of a challenge to maybe be working with a little bit less income. But again, I feel like I'm in a really good spot because I'm going into 2024 with no student loans, no credit card debt. You know, I have a car loan, but I can at least make the payment. I can probably make more than the payment. So I'm feeling very good as long as I can continue with these like healthy habits, not spending any money that I don't have, sticking within the budget, things like that, working on saving up for things instead of just buying things. But I do feel like I'm in a very good spot. I'm very happy with how 2024 went financially for me, and I'm looking forward to see how 2025 is going to go for me as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. I actually think this is my last official video for 2024, so thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you had a wonderful year, and I hope you have a good New Year's, and I will see you in 2025 for my next video.